Okay, so couple things. Three things. First, housekeeping. If you like the videos, get any value from them, click like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you could share, that would be nice. Comment. We respond to comments right away. And we're gonna actually the topic of today, which we'll get to in a minute, is from by request. So if you have any requests for any topics, please request. Second thing is our next meeting, which we're still having. Everybody's asking, is this Thursday? I don't know if anybody's going to show up because everybody seems terrified of coronavirus. Thursday, March 19th, 2020, 57 Ballard Avenue in Valley Stream, 7 to 7:45 p.m. Quick peek at a project we're doing. Can't really talk about anything without talking about the coronavirus. I had a post yesterday about it, what I thought it means to us, what I think about the whole pandemic, short-term, long-term repercussions. Obviously, things are shutting down. Schools are shutting down. Really, the country is pretty much shutting down in certain areas, most areas. People are asking me, should they still call? I believe you should still call. I think panic may be a good thing for people that want to sell their house. They might think that this is an opportune time to sell. So I think if you're doing any marketing, you should continue marketing. Now, the request that I got yesterday, was from someone who asked for how to qualify/disqualify a seller on the first contact. So a couple of things. You got to really, if you're not operating virtually, we don't. We operate locally, so our first contact is really designed to get an appointment, a live in-person appointment. If you're starting out, I would say you should go on any appointment you can. So let me qualify that further. If someone is a lead, and I define a lead as someone who has a property in an area you want to buy, or we want to buy, and wants to sell. They want to sell it. That's a lead. Anybody who wants to sell, I would go on the appointment. Now, you want to qualify, disqualify whether there's any motivation there or what that motivation is. So we use Brent Daniels from TTP system of the 4 pillars of motivation, which are time, price, reason, and condition. And I gave them really in the wrong order, but we have a script, and we'll share it with you if you want, where we go through the condition of the property, right? So let's talk about that. If someone said, the best words you could really hear are, this is a knockdown, or this is a full gut job. That's great, right? There's usually a lot of motivation there. They really don't have other options. Can't sell retail. That's great, so that's condition. Sorry, the other end of that is I just renovated all 5 minutes ago, right? Less likely to sell, but that's one. And usually things are somewhere in the middle. It's in okay condition, it's fair, it needs updating, that kind of thing is what you usually can hear. The second is time. So I always say, well, in order to get condition, I say, tell me a little bit about the house. And sometimes they won't tell me anything about condition. They'll tell me their grandfather built it. They told me when they bought it, that there was a problem with the municipality, taxes. And then I'll say, can you tell me a little bit about the condition on the inside? And I just listen. So that's how you get condition. The second is time. So I say, ideally, if you could wave a magic wand, when would you sell it? Right? So the best answer, obviously, most motivation is yesterday. I want it gone immediately. And then the other end of that spectrum is, I'm in no rush. You called me, you sent me a postcard, you texted me, that kind of thing. So, and usually somewhere in the middle is, a couple of months, that kind of thing. So that's 2 key indicators of motivation. The third is reason. So after I talk to you about the house, I say to them, why are you looking to sell it? It's a great area, or it sounds like a great house. And then you want to find out why. And they're not always going to tell you why, but you want to ask why. Oh, I need to sell it. Oh, I'm sick of it. See, there's different motivation. There's different levels, right? The best thing I could say is, because if I don't sell in the next week, I'm going to get foreclosed and lose all the equity, or judge ordered a sale, has to happen in 2 days. I'm being relocated to another state and I got to get rid of it. Or I bought another property and I can't afford 2 mortgages. Those are the best things, right? That's time motivator. And the worst thing they could say is, I don't know, no reason. You called me. So usually somewhere else in the middle. I'm leaving, I'm tired, my son moved out, or I'm moving in with my kids, that kind of thing. So that's a reason. And then the last one is price. So you want to ask them, what are you looking for? And a lot of people will not give you that. And we have a whole method of trying to get them to give you that method, tell you how. But then they give you a price. So even if there's no motivation, right, no good reason, and even if the house is in great condition, and even if they have time, but they give you a price that makes sense for you to buy, then that's a lead. That's motivated too. Sometimes people don't care about the price. So if I was just starting out and I went through those four things and I got nothing, right? I got no good motivation, I'd still go on the appointment. Because the more appointments you go on, the better off you're going to be. Even on someone who wants more than retail, is unrealistic and has no reason to sell, I'd still meet with them. And I'd still make them an offer, even if that offer is significantly below what they said they need. Because you have to learn to meet with prospective sellers, find out what's going on in their heads, and make offers. That's what you have to do. And the more of those you do, the better you are, the better off you are. Even if they're not a great lead, even if this is a crappy lead, I would go on any. Now, if you have limited time, or you are going on a bunch of appointments already, then if none of those things are checked off, I would say, you know what, then I would go negative on them and I'd say, it sounds like no matter what I offered you for this house, you wouldn't want to sell it to me. That's a great thing to say. That is a John Martinez / Greg Helbeck beauty. And then you'll hear what's really coming out. And if they say something like, you're right, then you know you're not going to waste your time. But again, if I was just starting out, I'd still go on a terrible appointment like that just to get, you got to go through a lot of bad appointments to get to the good ones. So if I have someone who's really just looking to list it, we take listings. But if you're not licensed and you don't want to take a listing, and someone says, I'm going to list, I want full retail, I'd ask them, if you were going to list it for sale with an agent, do you have somebody to list it with? And if they say, yeah, my friend, my cousin, my brother, yeah, the guy I bought the property from, and I realize this guy's house is in great shape, it's going to get listed, and it's not going to get listed with me, I might not go on the appointment either. I would say, it looks to me like that's your best bet, list it with your friend. That's what I would say. But again, if it was just starting out, I go on every single appointment I could, without exception. Now, if you're virtual, it's a whole different story, right? The goal of your initial call is not to make an appointment. The goal is to really determine price and see if you can make an offer, maybe even to make an offer over the phone. So it's different. It's a different story, right? If they don't check any of those boxes and you need to buy it at a discount because you're not listing properties there, then I'd go negative immediately. I'd say, you know what, it sounds like this is something that you're going to list with an agent, and that's probably your best bet. And that might uncover something that they didn't tell you before. No, I can't really list it with an agent. I have an extra kitchen in there, and no retail buyer can buy it. Okay, now you got something going on. So that's how to qualify or disqualify sellers on the first call, right? You go through the 4 pillars of motivation, try and get them to give you a price, right? It's important to get a price. But if you are starting out and you're not virtual and you just are looking for appointments, I'd go on every single appointment, as bad as it would sound, because the more sellers you talk to, the better you're going to get talking to those sellers who are motivated. That is how I feel very strongly. If you're virtual and this guy doesn't check off any of the 4 boxes of motivation, doesn't have a good reason, doesn't care when it happens, says that property's in good condition, won't give you a price or gives you a price that's high, I would say just go completely negative on him and say, it doesn't sound like you're going to sell a property to an investor like me. And then maybe you find out something more. So that is my answer to this requested topic. I have another request for tomorrow, which is not as good. I like this one a lot. We've done it before, but I think it's important for everybody to stay calm in light of this coronavirus, which again is going to kill people and is terrible, but is really not Ebola. And if you're healthy and have no comorbidities or underlying respiratory issues, you're probably going to get it and be fine with it, right? As I spoke about yesterday, this is the only time we ever heard the term self-quarantining. The reason why you can self-quarantine when you have a virus, in the past, if you had a bad virus, something that was going to kill you, you needed medical attention. But this one, a vast majority, I think it's going to end up being well over 90%. It might even be over 95% of the people that get it are going to end up having almost no symptoms, minimal or no symptoms. So right now that number is 85%, but I believe that a lot of people have the virus and are just not testing for it. You cannot get tested for it unless you have a lot of symptoms or have direct contact with somebody who tested positive. So I think that there's going to be I think in the end there's going to be a very low mortality rate. I think people are afraid of things that maybe they don't have to be afraid of, but if everything's shutting down, it should stop the spread, and hopefully There will be very limited amount of deaths from it, a limited amount of people that are very sick from it, and everybody should stay safe, but stay calm.